Hey everybody, Dawn McGee, your nutrition coach here, and wow, some strange times we've been living in this past week or two, right? So I normally come to talk to you about eating, moving, and recharging with a different theme each Thursday. Today I am throwing out the script and we're talking about the new normal that a lot of us are living in, working from home plus schooling from home. Here in Massachusetts, our schools are mandated to be closed at least until April 7th. My gut feel is it's going to be longer than that. So how can we do this without losing our minds, making sure that everybody is successful? So what I've got for you today, I have been working from home for over 15 years in different settings. And so I've got just a couple of tips for you today on how to get started working from home. And then my 15-year-old son, Spencer, put together a couple of tips for how to be successful at schooling from home. Now, he goes to a school in Raleigh, Massachusetts called the Clark School, which we adore. And they are pretty much fully online. And so anytime they have a snow day, he has been schooling online. So he's got some great tips for you. I'm going to jump right in. If you have questions, post them in the comments, and I will be happy to answer them. If you're watching this on a replay, tag me, and I will be happy to answer questions. If there are a lot of questions, I will be happy to go live day after day, as long as it takes to answer questions, to help you guys sort of start to feel a little more comfortable with what you're doing. So let's start with working from home. What does that look like for you? The very first thing I recommend you do is figure out, what does your foundation look like? Do you have to put in specific hours? Do you have core hours that you need to work? Or are you results driven and it doesn't matter what hours you work as long as you get your work done? So that's the very first foundation that you need to understand with working from home, right? What are the expectations? And then from there, you can go on and do stuff like create the environment that you want to work in. I'm super lucky because I've been doing this for a long time. I have an office. I just converted to a standing desk, and so now I've got, my keyboards and my standing desk and my setup with my webcam and my monitor, and so I'm good to go. But most people have not had the years of experience that I have doing this, and so this is going to feel really weird. So find a spot. Set up your boundaries, right? So what do your boundaries look like? And this is going to be different for everybody. I'll share with you some of mine, but what are your boundaries going to be? Do you need a set place to work from? Do you need a place where you can close the door because you're going to be on calls? Do you need to be on video? So in which case you're going to want to be dressed most days, at least from the waist up, right? And if not, does it matter to you to get dressed? I can tell you my personal experience. For me, it doesn't feel like I'm at work unless I'm dressed. So my routine is I get up, I do my workout and have my breakfast, and I shower and I get dressed, and I go to my desk. And there needs to be some separation for me between personal and business. And that's going to be harder these days with all of us being home, but still I have a door that I can close. You may want to have some sort of a symbol, a note on the door, whatever, if you're in the middle of something that can't be interrupted. But the reality is this, if it's important and you get interrupted, we're all in the same boat. It's totally okay, in my opinion, to say, excuse me, could you hang on a second? There's something going on. Whether it's, the kids, the cats cleaning the curtains, whatever it is, I think everybody's going to give each other a lot more grace and latitude these days. We don't have to pretend that we're not working from home. We don't have to pretend that we don't have kids. Times have changed. So, it's okay, right? There are some great videos online with with a news anchor who was being, or somebody who was being interviewed, and his daughter came in, and he handled it so gracefully. It was wonderful. So figure out what your boundaries are. What do you need? What kind of a space do you need to get your work done? And then the third thing I recommend, and obviously we could talk for hours about this, the third thing I recommend is having a family meeting. Get everybody together so that everybody understands what each other needs. What are the boundaries? What are the needs? What are the spaces? I'm sure everybody is going to have to make some compromises to make that happen. But if you talk about it and keep the communication open, you're much more likely to be successful at it and hopefully not be snapping at each other. You know, so my boundaries are this. As I said, I get up, I work out, I have my breakfast, I shower, I get dressed, I'm at my desk. For me, I do not turn on the TV during the day. I do not do dishes. I do not do laundry. I am at my office. I am working. And so I set boundaries between the times when I'm working and the times that I am not. These days, since we're all a little bit less connected, it is super important for me to get outside every day, get a walk in, get some fresh air. I take my kiddo with me and make sure that is a part of my day. So these are some ideas that might help you figure out what your boundaries are. You know, where do you fall on either side? And know that there is no perfect right answer. You do you. You have to figure out what works for you. And you may try something this week and go, oh, that was not a good idea, and change it all the following week. Or you may try something this week and go, wow, that was amazing. It all worked great, and keep going with that. So those are my work from home tips. I'll be coming with more of those as time goes on. And I'll jump in now. My son didn't want to get on camera. I was hoping to convince him to be here with me, but he's not. And so his tips for successfully schooling from home are a couple. The first one is make sure you have a variety of things to do during the day, that you're not just sitting there staring at your screen trying to get schoolwork done, whether you're on a Google Hangout with your classmates or your teacher, or whether you've just got assignments that you've got to do. But make sure you set aside some time for doing your schoolwork and then doing other things, whether it is getting out for fresh air and a walk. So I think that means that he appreciates that we're getting out every day for walking. Experiment with cooking. He and I have been doing some cooking together, and that's great for some teaching, but it's also great for time together, because the one thing that I forgot to mention in my tips that he mentioned in his is don't forget to eat. You have to eat because that keeps your brain going. And then the second tip from him was to make sure that you've got a place where you can set your stuff up, you can work, so you're not constantly shifting and moving stuff around. Obviously, this isn't going to be possible or perfect in everybody's setup, but if you can all set up some spaces where you've got your own space, you've got a good recipe for success. So comments, questions, let me know. I'm happy to answer them. And as always, what I hope for you in these times is to live a life you love without being hungry or feeling deprived or giving up your glass of wine with dinner, because goodness knows we certainly want that glass of wine with dinner these days. Any questions, come jump into my group, Never Diet Again, or post them here. And I'll talk to you guys again soon. Ciao.